Next to CEO, the most challenging, close to impossible position to fill in any organization is that of a rainmaker. A rock star biz dev goal crusher. That's why companies will hire an executive search firm to try and find and attract rainmakers. They're all happily employed somewhere and really difficult to connect with. Good luck with LinkedIn in mails at this level. When my friends David Perry and Anita Martel at Perry Martel International contacted me regarding a rainmaker search they successfully completed, placing a candidate that is not only a rainmaker, but a unicorn, well, that really intrigued me. David and Anita were hired to fill this senior position in an early stage architectural firm with about 20 employees. The firm needed not just a sales leader, but someone to run operations. Hence, they needed a unicorn. And the new hire would report to the founder CEO of husband and wife team. What could possibly go wrong? Well, just about everything, right? The reason this one worked, well, there are a lot of reasons. For instance, Perry Martel's incredibly detailed inside out process. The key essence of the approach and success, finding the perfect candidate and maximizing the ROI, you need to understand not only the position, but the company and its culture. In other words, you go deep inside before you go outside. And here's one more essential ingredient: it takes a rainmaker to attract a rainmaker. And that's exactly what happened here. In this video, you'll meet the rainmaker, Shane Balcom. We focus specifically on working for founder CEOs, diving into both sides of this equation. If you're a rainmaker or founder CEO contemplating a scenario similar to this, you'll find Shane's experience and insights invaluable. The video is part of multiple interviews covering the Rossmann Architecture story called, you guessed it, the Rainmaker Series. There's another interview with Shane that's focused on working with executive recruiters, and soon I'll be interviewing the founder CEO team, Eric and Sarah Rossmann. Finally, you'll find Perry Martel's inside out process and important research in the resources section of their website, perrymartel.com. And now, here's my conversation with Shane Balcom. Enjoy.
So Shane Balcom's my name, and I've been working in what I would call sort of hyper-growth startup space now for about 15, 16 years. I'm a generalist for sure. Spent a long time in operations, morphed over to the executive sales side of the house. I've run channel, I've run professional services, math background, which means I'm pretty versed when it comes to, fiscal responsibility and finance stuff as well. And, most recently, leading up to this, I've started to delve into the chief of staff type roles and feel like I specialize, specifically with founder CEOs. And, the vertical in general really doesn't matter to me. I like founder CEOs. I like to team up with entrepreneurs. And, typically I would classify myself as an executor. I'm not an entrepreneur, but I'm a great right hand to an entrepreneur.
But one of the things that you said to me that I found really interesting is that what you have learned about founder CEOs in the past 10 or 15 years. So can you unpack that for me a little bit?
Yeah. So the neat thing about being a generalist is typically founder CEOs, and this is the fourth gig I've had with a founder CEO, they have a core skill set, an entrepreneurial side that is their comfort zone, their go-to, where their passion lies. But they're always the owner and the founder of the company. They obviously end up in CEO positions because the company has some success early doors, and they're not well-rounded CEOs. So as great as they are, as exceptional as they are in certain parts, including the entrepreneurial DNA, they usually have big holes in their game when it comes to being a well-rounded CEO. And where I can really help is I can fit a lot of those holes. And the other thing I've learned is I really like, and it's a bit of a generalization, Peter, but I really like the intellect and the passion that seems to come with the founder CEO. I like working for that kind of a brain. I like the quick processing. I love the passion. We officially decided yesterday that my role here and title will be managing director. So I'm going to be in charge of the internal and external scalability of the business. So I own all the process development, all the operational side, including managing their executive team. And I also own all the growth, scalability, potential acquisition from a business development lens. It hasn't taken very long for them to get comfortable and recognize the breadth of my skill set and the importance to their vision. And their vision is top line growth. Their vision is designing a culture based on their moral fabric, which is basically, especially from Sarah's point of view, they want to have a very gender healthy society here. They want to have great work-life balance. They want to have autonomy. They want to have freedom. They want to have a culture designed around personal ownership and responsibility. And, these are great things. These are things that are going to be fun to scale. They want to be considered one of the best places in Ottawa to work. So, we have some very specific goals in mind when it comes to, our people resource. As you and I both know, and probably the most important part of scaling a successful business. And the other side of it is making sure that the zeros and ones, so the process is designed not to break as we triple or quadruple our revenue in the next 18 months, and to design the proper leadership cadences so we're managing the strategy and the potentially fatal decision-making processes that could unhinge us. So those are all the things I'm doing for them. And from the BD side, it's making sure we don't open the tap too soon and fail. A friend of mine in the consulting world uses this phrase that I coined a long time ago, just by accident in a conversation with them. But I was quoted as saying, "Success is just another form of failure if you're not careful."
Another insight you shared in our prep interview was that a lot of small businesses never become big businesses because having the humility to recognize that there's a massive upside for them if they do go out and get people that can do things they can't. So how did this factor into your decision to join Rossmann?
If I don't identify that being a truth, I never take the job. So, as you get further along in your professional career, experience really starts helping you with decision making. I've experienced the opposite. And I recognize now that, with these smaller founder companies, the one thing that's a must for a guy like me is they do need to be humble enough and aware enough to know that, in order to get to where they want to go, they might need somebody else flying the ship. And, I've never understood why. I'm not an entrepreneur, so it's tough for me, but I've never understood why ego sometimes gets in the way of this type of success or growth. It confuses me a little bit. But I do get on a human level that it's not uncommon. So part of my vetting process was making sure I felt very comfortable that Eric and Sarah were on the same page. And one of the things I said to them last week, if you guys aren't happy, and I'm not talking professionally now, I'm talking in your personal life, I'm going to own that. I'm going to feel responsible for that. And it's very important to me that they understand that. I'm not here just to try to make them money. I'm here to try to make their life in an absolute sense better. And we could do really well at Rossmann, but if we do it in a manner that creates all kinds of stress at home, I failed. And I think that's a unique spin. And I think David and Anita knew by putting me in here, I'd be very aware of that type of stuff. But I don't think that's common. I don't think a lot of people would walk into a VP of sales role with that as part of their agenda. I think that's a very subtle thing, but I do think it's right near the top of the list on importance when matchmaking in this type of a company, this type of a role. I love the weird journey I've been on, and that includes ending up at a mom and pop architect firm. How cool of a story is that? And hopefully this is my last gig at this stage of my career. I'd like to be here for the rest of my working days, and I'd like to pull off exactly what the Rossmanns hope to achieve. And I think it'd be pretty neat to be a part of that.